Hi gang, Rob here. It is the evening of 28 July 2015 and we're going to talk about the Great Eastern Cutlery number 15 platform this evening. And it comes in many forms, or has been made in many forms. Here's sort of the basic model. This is a Huckleberry boy's knife. Just a standard, sort of smallish, but not too tiny jackknife. This one comes with a gorgeous clip main. For the lefty, well, I guess for the lefty, it is a near side pen. Just a beautiful little knife. This one is in Knife Bright acrylic, which is the whiter version of glow-in-the-dark acrylic from GEC. With Sunbright being the more yellow version. So that is sort of the basic 15 pattern. And then let's talk about some more of its extravagant members in the 15 class. This is my pride and joy, my walnut covered all steel Tom's Choice Barlow single blade clip, my preferred configuration. You know, and these have quite a price range. The Huckleberry boy's knife two-bladed jack, these run about $80 to $85. Tom's Choice Barlows, if they are, you know, the preferred combination of blade handle material, these can these sell for just over $100 when they're new, when Charlie Campagna orders a run of them. On the secondary markets, the right ones can fetch close to $300. And then sort of in between, some interesting variations. There was the radio knife, which had a spear point blade and a combination cap lifter and screwdriver. That knife, I think, also was released as the cap lifter. Then there's the Scout knife, which is has an easy open scallop here in the handle, and I believe I've only seen them in a sheep's foot blade. And they, I think, have a bail. And it's just a very versatile platform. It's such a cool size. Measure this handle. I think it's about 3 3/8 inches, but let me verify that. A little bigger than that. Just a hair shy of 3.5 inches. Very pocketable, a little smaller than the number 77 pattern, which is about the same shape. And, you know, it was originally cast as a boy's knife, this one, because it's a little smaller than the 77, I suppose. But it's been made in so many cool variations, and the newest is with us this evening. And here's the tube. I'm going to move the TCB out of the way and use my tube popper, my Huckleberry boy's knife. Let's see what we got here. Hammer tested frozen forged 1095 carbon steel Titty cutlery. And on the back, this is to certify that your name here is a member in good standing with the Beer Scout Knife Club, Great Eastern Cutlery, 701 East Spring Street, Unit 10, Building 2, Titusville, PA, 16354, etc. Let's see what we have inside, boys and girls. Well, we have a familiar wax paper inner container and a pretty cool little pin. Beer Scout Knife Club. Awesome. All right, shall we? I think we shall. Here we go. The latest 15 is the Beer Scout. And this is mine. It is a number 15 with a tube and a bail, which is a very slickly operating bail. It kind of stays where you put it. in chestnut saw cut bone covers. This is not an all steel knife, has brass liners. So I told you about the Scout, single sheep's foot with an easy open feature. Well, this is a beer Scout, so we start with the easy open feature and the sheep's foot blade with the acid etched BS BS logo. But it is a beer Scout, so it's a Scout, bale, sheep's foot, easy open. Why the beer Scout? Well, let's take a look. What's the secondary blade? Aha! It is the screwdriver / cap lifter that you see on the radio knife. So it's kind of a neat little combination, isn't it? It has the secondary implement of the radio or cap lifter knife, and the rest of it's pretty much a Scout. What a handy little package, huh? Let's see. What competitive option could there be to a knife like that? Not a GEC product. Huh. How about a Cadet? With its spear main blade, its screwdriver and cap lifter, and in a thinner package with the Cadet, you get the small screwdriver and can opener and fingernail tool and nail file, and it's thinner in profile. So why would anybody ever buy a Great Eastern Cutlery beer Scout? Well, because it's cool. It is cool. Some other reasons too, I think. Clearly, a lot more handwork goes into this knife. And let's talk about the quality of that handwork, shall we? Let's just take a look around it. We've got pretty good transitions, not the best I've ever seen from GEC. We have back springs that are flush when closed. Wow, pretty flush at half stop and really flush while open. See if the same is true on the other implement. Pretty impressive. That's nice and flush. How about the centering of our tools? Yeah. Pretty awesome. And you always got to watch GEC a little bit when they do these square cut butt ends. Sometimes they get a little out of whack. This one looks very symmetrical and very straight across. And let's look at the back spring termination. I'm going to call that quite straight. How about the blade? One of the better grinds I think I've seen on a sheep's foot from GEC. Their machine swedge, a little wavy on the back side. Beautiful on the show side for a righty. Yeah, we lefties always get left on the bad side of things a little bit. It's not horrible. A quick little reset into that swedge could hide some of that waviness, I suspect. How about the symmetry of our swedge? Very good on this one. Very good. Of course, no side play. Pull weight on this. Well, it's an easy open. If using the easy open feature, I'm going to call the pull a 4. If I'm using the long pull, that's still maybe, you're using a little different method of gripping the blade, but maybe a 5 that way. And on the other implement, probably a 7 because of the location of the nail nick. And you kind of want that to be pretty snappy. pretty firm when open especially, and it is. How's the finishing on that secondary implement? Nice crisp corners. If there's any knock I give the Victorinox products is that their screwdriver blades are just round and they don't bite into the slot quite as well as a tool like this will. As you guys know, I have not opened a beer bottle with this. Channel history will tell you I stopped partaking of the fruit of the vine. Oh gosh, what's it been? 26 years ago. But you never know. If I find an old school non-twist off bottle of sarsaparilla, I'm going to hope this is in my pocket that day. Okay, the shield is one you don't see very often from GEC. Nicely engraved. Well, I guess it's probably stamped, but it's really an intricate stamp. Notice the font. Beer Scout knife. Now, I will tell you, my shield is nearly perfectly inlaid. I can't really find a void anywhere between it and the saw-cut chestnut bone cover. Some of the knives in the wood covers and in the smooth ivory bone have some pretty decent and glaring gaps. I have noticed that, so beware of it. But other than that little bit of a wavy swedge, the fit and finish on this knife is really pretty close to perfect. Oh, it did show up, and you never know where this comes from, but it did show up in the tube with the slightest scratch. I don't know if the camera will pick this up. Yeah, there it is. So to the pivot side of the Beer Scout logo, about a quarter of the way up from the cutting edge, that should be showing up for you. It's there. And I'm not going to attempt to reset and to get rid of that because I just don't want to lighten or obliterate that Beer Scout logo. I'll just deal with it, not a big deal. You never know where something like that happens. All it takes is one tiny piece of sanding grit that gets lodged somewhere where it's not supposed to be. And that can happen. Well, let's see. Of course, this has got my standard 18-degree all to the edge bevel at the edge. And wow, shockingly, it cuts like a GEC, which is just awesome. One of the reasons we love them so. Here's one of the other reasons we love them so. You guys have heard me talk about this before. 18 degrees, precision, angle, cutting edge bevel on a sheep's foot blade. How straight is the edge and how consistent is the width of my bevel? Well, those two questions, if the answer is really straight and really consistent, that means the knife is the same thickness at the edge and the edge is straight from tip to hilt. Nobody else gets this as right as GEC does. I mean, nobody. If this were a queen knife, you'd see the width of that edge bevel just wander all over the place. We would probably have a significant rounding up at the tip. That's just how it is. This is just one of those things that makes Bill Howard Bill Howard. What a honey. This knife is really hard for me to get out of my pocket. Really hard. I thought you guys would like to see it. The availability and price. There are some left in Oh, there are some left. There might be one smooth ivory bone as of this day at Gunstock Jacks. I've decided I'm probably not going to buy it, so have at her, boys. There are some other cover materials available. I think there might be a Gabon Ebony out there somewhere. Pricing is just under $100, between $90 and $100, depending on where you buy them and what cover material. Now, they're also making this in a Soda Scout. And your question would be, well, Rob, if you're a recovering alcoholic, why wouldn't you buy a Soda Scout instead of a Beer Scout? Here's why. The Scout has a different and sort of smaller shield, I believe. And like the original Scout knife, the Soda Scout just has, in a very plain font, the word Scout stamped, and not very attractively. This is just way cooler. I didn't know that when I pre-ordered this knife, but I'm happy I did what I did. I think the Beer Scout pre-order with Mike Latham at CollectorKnives.net happened a day or two before the Soda Scout, and I was already on the hook for this and didn't have another one in my budget. So, but I'm glad it turned out the way it did. Isn't it cool? Oh, you know what? As we go out, let's just throw that old green Cadet out here too for you to look at. A little less capability, certainly better quality implements on the Beer Scout compared to the Cadet. But guys, even a colored Cadet in a rare color, $30, $35, $25 for plain silver, still a great value. One of the greatest EDC tools ever devised by man. But super coolness. That's all for tonight, my friends. Grace to you and peace from God our Father and the Lord Jesus Christ. And remember, the Word and my Beer Scout are sharp.